Now, if you'd like to see me ranking my 24 Natasha Denona palettes, then stay tuned. Hi, my name's Lou and I have 24 Natasha Denona palettes, and today we're going to be ranking them. Okay, so to start off, we're going to get straight into it. Firstly, the only palettes I don't have are the mini sizes, so it looks like this, but the pan sizes are like this size. Those are the only ones I don't have, and that's because it's just an awkward size. I just never really was drawn to them. Also, I'm told that apart from the cranberry palette, I think, and one or two other Christmas palettes, all of those can be found in the large 28 pan. So because of that, in the future I might buy them, but for now I've not seen any that have sort of like, you know, floated my boat, as it were. Okay, so let's get into it. The first palette I have in at number 24 is the Mini Tropic palette. Now, I've gone for the Mini Tropic because it doesn't, I know I don't reach for it. That's just the point blank period. I don't reach for this palette. And the reason I don't reach for it is because it's not a cohesive, like for instance, I feel like maybe if this blue here was a matte, or this green here was a matte, or there was a green matte, I just feel like it's not a very cohesive palette for me anyway. What I do like about it is, for instance, I will start using another palette and then be like, ooh, that blue in Mini Tropic, yeah, let me reach for that. That's more times when I'll reach for it. So I know it has a place in my collection. The place is just nowhere at number one. So Mini Tropic at 24. At 23, we have the Safari palette. I don't want to blow it out anyway. Now, the Safari palette is a wonderful palette. It's an all matte palette, so that ticks the box straight away for me because I love mattes. But the only thing is, because it's not cohesive, it's not a cohesive color story, I don't find myself reaching for it. Now, I've put it in my using drawer or rotated it into my drawer a few times now, and each time I've not used it. And I think I've done it about 4 times, and it's usually in there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Now that fundamentally is about 8 weeks that it's been rotated in, and I haven't reached for it. And I know why. I'm trying to figure out before why, but I know why actually. It's because it's not a cohesive color story. So what will happen, like for instance, I will get up in the morning and be like, oh, I want to do brown today, and then I'll reach for the Naughty palette by Hoodie, or I'll reach for one of the Latte palettes. Well, you can't really do that with this. You almost got to pick it up with no idea what you want to do and then just wing it. But I don't really work like that. I always have a rough idea of what I want and what textures I want, and as a result I'll grab this palette to make it happen. So for that reason, she's at number 23. At number 22, we're going to have the Sunset palette. Now the Mini Sunset is at number 22 because it's just a bit meh. It's just a bit boring, to be honest with you. That's the only reason it's there. The formula is great, and I do feel like she has made, oh, look at that, so creamy. I do feel like the formula has started to get better. A lot of people had complaints that the formula in the minis wasn't as good as the large ones. I think she's worked on that, and because I'm a later consumer, I think I'm probably buying from newer batches, which is why I've had no issues, specifically with the Lila, because I heard that was an abomination. But yeah, for that reason, she's a number 22. At number 21, we have the Mini Retro palette. Now, the Mini Retro is ranked so low because it's just a bit meh. It's a bit soft. That's what it is. It's a bit soft. And if I want something that's soft, I'd probably go for Charlotte Tilbury, because Charlotte Tilbury is soft and it's ethereal, but it's still, oh, what's she got on her eyes? Whereas this one is just makeup, no makeup, maybe. And for that reason, she's ranked so low. Sauce. At number 20, we have the Nude palette. Now, she's for the same reason as Sunset. It's just a bit boring. But the reason she ranks a little bit higher is because of this deepening shade here. At number 19, we have the Mini Lila. Now, I love this palette. I actually can honestly say I love this palette, and I've been using it a lot with the Mini Love palette because they go really well together. It's just because I prefer the larger Lila that she ranks so low. What's the only reason? Otherwise, I do love this one. At number 18, we have the Mini Zendo palette. Now, the mini Zendo to me is everything the retro should have been. It's like her dark, grungier sister. And I'm thankful for that. I prefer her because of that, because she's just got a little bit more going to her. For her, she's the one that sneaks out of the house. She's the one who, after dark, you know, stuffs the pillows underneath the cushion and then heads out. She's the naughty sister. Retro's the good sister. So for that reason, she's number 18. At number 17, we have the Star palette. Now, again, I love this palette. My frustration with this palette is that I need a deepening shade, because what happens is I'll create a look and then just realize it needs some dimension. And for an 18-pan palette, I shouldn't have to reach outside of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I see a color within a different palette that I like and I want to add to it because it will bring something new, great. But I shouldn't have to reach for something to give me definition, i.e. a deep brown, i.e. a deep burgundy, i.e. a black. I shouldn't have to, and I think this is what this is lacking. That's the only reason I rated it where it is. At number 16, we have the Mini Glam. Now, the only reason I rated the Mini Glam here is because, first of all, for some reason, she's so sensitive. Like, I find she's really crumbly at the moment. Like, every time I use her, there's a chance that I may mess her up more. Like, this particular shade is crumbling away. I'm constantly feeling like I need to repack it in, which is quite frustrating. So for that reason, she is what she is. At number 15, we have the Mini Gold. Now, the only reason I've ranked the Mini Gold here, and this is going to be the same for the next palette as well, is because I just prefer the larger gold. So within that kind of color family, I just prefer the larger one. That's literally it. Otherwise, I do love this. As a one and done look, boom, 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 gone. This is a fantastic palette. You can't go wrong with this. At number 14, we have the Mini Star. Now, the reason I've ranked this here is because it's so easy to use, like super duper easy to use. You know, you've got your deepening shade. There are so many looks I can create with this palette, like put this, and then choose a shimmer, or choose 2 shimmers. In fact, choose 3 shimmers if you want. But I can create so many cohesive looks with just these 5 shades, and it's not hard work. It's actually relatively easy, and that's why I love this. At number 13, we have the Lila palette. Now, when I first got this palette, I used the crap out of it. I used it all the time. Like I said before, I love purples, pinks, mauves, reds, those kind of tones. I love them, and I use the crap out of this, and you can tell it's actually quite dirty. But then I found, when I was doing the ranking, I was like, Lou, when was the last time you pulled for this? And I realised it's because more of the ones that have come out recently have held my attention, and that shows me, because if you love something, even when things are new that come out, you still love it, and I've neglected and forgotten about this, so for that reason, so slutty. At number 12, we have the Sunset palette. I got confused there. Now, this palette is literally me in a palette. Like, it's warm, it's red, it's orange, it's yellow. This is a bit of me. This is a fantastic palette. At number 11, we have the Love palette. Again, like I said, I love my pinks and my purples and things like that, and this fits all of them. It's gorgeous, and it's got so much depth and dimension. You've got lightening shades, you've got deepening shades, and this shade here, this particular shade here, like the creamiest deepening, it's the creamiest deepening shade. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's creamy. It's like a creamy matte. Is it cream to powder? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. At number 10 is our Bezzy Mate. It's the Mini Love. Now, the only reason I put this one slightly ahead is because of this shade here. It's 2 shades. This shade here firstly, and then this shade here. And I like it because this is a deepening shade, but it's a true matte. There's no shine to it whatsoever, and for that reason, she's in at number 10. At number 9, we have the Sunrise palette. Now I've ranked the Sunrise palette at number 9 because it's so much fun. It is a really, really fun palette. Again, it's the same kind of tones I love, but it's like my favorite summer, one of my favorite summer palettes, not my favorite, but one of my favorite summer palettes because it's got your reds, your oranges, your yellows, your, what else? Your deep, what's that? Is it like a Merlot kind of colour? And then you've got your duo. It's just a really nice palette for the summer, and that's what I love about it. This one, I could create so many looks for the summer, you know, and I love that about it. At number 8, we have Metropolis. Metropolis is a person's dream. Okay, now the problem with Metropolis, I'll start with the problem first. The only problem with Metropolis is if you're a newbie, you've got to contend with so many, so I've just smudged it. You've got to contend with so many different formulas, and that can probably be a little hard. You've got your cream to powders, there's just a lot of formulas in here, which might be a little bit confusing if you're quite new to makeup. If you're not, like myself or anybody else who's just very, very interested in different textures and things, this is a fantastic palette. It runs the color gamut. You've got your deeps, you've got your, and there's these 3 shades here, 1, 2, 3. In the palette, they look more or less the same, and they feel kind of dry. But then, oh, look at them. 3 completely different shades, but in the palette they look so similar. And I love that about them. And they blend like a dream. Like this particular palette is almost self-blending, if that makes any sense. And I love it. The tones, again, they're very me, very brown, very grungy, but oh, gorgeous, very, very me. At number 7, we have Bieber. A filthy Bieber because my hands are filthy. Now I love, so annoying. Bieber, my baby, Bieber, I love you. Why did you do this to us? To us, Bieber, baby. I've gotta repress you. My baby, baby, we're all gathered here today for Bieber, his funeral. You were loved. So I'm not going to hold Bieber up anymore because I don't want her to fall out and she needs to be repressed. Anyway, Bieber's one of my favourites because it is a warm nude. Look at my fingers. She's all over the floor. I'm so pissed off. But she's a warm palette, and that's why I love her, because she's warm, she's soft. There's a lot of mattes in there, and she's just your everyday. You can just use her. She's your everyday. Look at my fingers. Jesus. So for that reason, that's why Bieber sits at number 6. At number 5, we have the Gold palette. Now, one thing I love about this gold palette is it's got so many different types of golds. It's got, the only thing it doesn't have is your icy gold. Actually, no, there was an icy gold, yay! It does have an icy gold. It's got your warm tone gold. It's got, oh, it doesn't have a pink gold, but it's got your greeny gold, your bluey golds, your gold, your copper golds, your brown golds. It's got a lot going on in here, and it's got lots of mattes to match. And one thing I like about it is it does have that lovely deepening. Look at that. It's got that lovely deepening shade, so you can add whatever look you have, you're going to get dimension with it. This is very sultry. This is very, you could take it from daytime to evening very easily, and you look glam either way. So for that reason, that's why gold is number 5. At number 5, we have the Triochrome palette. Now this is a brand new palette, it's very, very new. And the funny thing is, I am not rating it so highly because of the duochromes. I'm rating it so highly because of the pastel colours. These pastel colours are phenomenal. Normally I stay clear of pastels, I just don't think they're for me, they're not my business, mind your business, stay away from them. But this one actually showed me how to use pastels, and it's been made so well that any skin tone can use these pastels, and for that reason this is number 5. At number 4, we have the brown green palette, and they look like that on the outside. Sorry, my fingers are so disgusting now, it's transferring. Now I love this because there's so much choice. You've got your greens, you've got your browns, but then it's so tonal. You've got so much choice in what you want to do and how you want to make it work. For instance, if you look at this tone, oh my god, this is so pretty. This, And then you've got, let's say, this green here. Then you've got the green next to it, which is like a duochrome. There's just so much choice to what you can create. And that's what I like about it. As in, I can still do a brown look, but it's not your stereotypical. I can do a green look and it's not your stereotypical. And you can add this row here for a little bit more, not depth, but just add a bit more dimension to the look that you're trying to create. And for that reason, and this is just an everyday staple. As in, if this is the only palette you've got in your kit or in your collection, you're not losing, you're winning. At number 3, we've got a surprise entry because I never thought I'd like cool tones, and I never thought I'd like cool tones the way I'm starting to like cool tones, and glam has played a massive part in that. Now, a massive reason of why glam it's so preferable for me in my skin tone is because they're deep shades. Like the mattes are deep, which means that they don't look ashy on brown skins, deeper brown skins for that reason. And then all the rest just runs the gamut. Like these shimmers and metallics are gorgeous. Once you've got once you've figured out how to use the mattes, then the rest is history. At number 2, we have her sister, Miss Bronze. Now, I was never going to put glam over bronze, let's be honest. Like, I love warm tones. I love warm tones, and look at this, you've got this deep red here, you've got and I know a lot of people have said, oh, it looks like the same tones, but maybe because my undertone or my colouring, I don't know, but I find the only time I get a look that resembles another look is if I'm trying to do it. For the most part, I get so many fun looks with this palette. I'm just going to cover it. I get so many fun looks with this palette. It's like I said, it's my colour story. It's browns, it's reds, it's oranges. It's very much it's copper essentially, bronze. It's very much my colour story. So I really, really enjoy using this and seeing what comes of it. So for that reason, bronze is number 2. And last but not least, the queen of my life is a 28 pan, 205 pounds palette, and it is the purple blue. Now, when I bought the 2, I thought for sure the brown green was going to be my fave, and it should be because it's the tones I love, but this is just exciting. It just gets my juices flowing. It just gets me thinking. It gets me thinking outside the box. Look at these blues. They're just absolutely beautiful. Really well done. The formula is second to none. I don't think any of the other palettes have matched or come close to the formula in this. And I don't know if it's because this was made earlier on and they've not been able to replicate it, but the formula in this and the green, brown green, phenomenal. Like it's out of this world. So good. So good. So for that reason, this is ranked at number 1. Who'd have thought it, right? Who'd have thought it? Purple blue. Now, if you liked my ranking video, please like, please subscribe, please share if you care. I'd love to hear in the comments if you have any of these palettes, if you would have ranked them slightly differently, if there are any that you now want that you didn't before, any that you now say I definitely don't want. Retro. Now, another thing I've noticed, that I'm going to do a declutter later in the year. Sorry, I'm looking at my fingers, they're actually filthy. Later in the year, and I realise I've got to change my mindset a little bit because I've got palettes like Mini Tropic that I should probably declutter, but because I want to keep the whole collection, I'm not gonna. And plus I don't hate it. That's the biggest thing. I don't hate it. And if I was the last palette I was left with on earth, I would still use it. You know, I wouldn't, I hate you, get away from me. I would still use it. So I need to work on that for myself. That's just a personal thing. But yeah, just thinking ahead to decluttering, like, how am I going to do that? But anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed my video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I don't really want to do this my hand today. Now I need to go repress my baby. You're all gathered here.